YouTube, what's going on? Mike Breeze back again, man. Today I want to go over some settings. The settings that I use in Warzone. I want to go over some things that are strictly for PC in your NVidia control panel. Well, not in your control panel, but when you hit Alt Z, and you pull up your filters, I want to show you some filter changes that I've been using to kind of brighten up the shadows in the game to help, minimize when people are lurking in the shadows, being able to see them a lot better. And I want to show you my settings for my Elite controller that I use. If you guys are ever considered getting an Elite Series controller, which is this right here, it's Xbox's their performance controller, if you will. I want to go over some settings in there and show you what I use, and just go over a bunch of stuff to kind of help you guys maybe get a little bit better in Warzone, and just give you as much edge as possible. But let's get right into it. All right, guys. So first, I want to show you the different the filter I use for my NVIDIA. So if you come over here and you look, you see like the shadows are pretty dark and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Alt Z. I'm going to go over to Game Filter. And right now I have everything off, so there's no filters, there's no nothing. This is just base what you're gonna see. Now if I switch over, you see how everything just got super bright? And look, this is off, or off, on, off, on. I'm going to show you my settings that I use for this. So I got my brightness and contrast settings. I got my exposure set to 0. Got my contrast on 30, highlights on -100, shadows on -70, and my gamma is on 21. You can adjust the gamma depending on to your liking. If you want to put it a little bit lower, a little bit higher. Might leave it on 15, kind of find a happy medium. But at the end, also I have my sharpen filter, and the way you find these is you just go, if you want to add a filter, you can go look in here. And brightness and contrast is already up. And but in this box is going to have the filters that I'm using. So you're going to find sharpen and contrast when you just hit add filter. It's not in there right now because I've already applied them. So then in my sharpen, I have my sharpen up to 70%. And then I have my ignore film grain down to 0%. What sharpen's going to do is it's going to remove any extra film grain that may be there. And then you put this on 0. So these are my settings for that if you want to screenshot it. So I'll give you a second to screenshot this. Then I'll pick this up. Brightness and contrast. If you guys want to screenshot this, try it out. Let me know what you think. Again, this is off. And this is on. I think oh wow, I didn't even know there was somebody in the game. I didn't know I put a bot in here. But I think it makes a huge difference. I mean, that's, again, these are all just my personal opinions. But when you're playing in Warzone, it really does help out, because they got characters with like all black outfits, and a lot of people who aren't as good at Warzone will just sit in a dark corner, you know what I mean? And it just helps to be able to kind of pull those people out, because a lot of times in Warzone, like I've said before in previous videos, you got to play for the campers. You got to play and be ready for that guy right there, because the guy that's running up on you, you kind of, it's easier to spot those guys. But somebody that's just been sitting in a corner, and maybe you're running in an open area, you know what I mean? And you need to be able to see those dark areas of the map. And when I cut it off, the shadows and everything are just so much darker. Then I cut it on. And from close range, it doesn't make a huge difference. It's more so for those ranged encounters when you're walking up on somebody. Like looking in there per se. And it just brightens it up a little bit and kind of just, gives you a little bit more of an edge to help you spot those enemies a lot faster. But again, let me know in the comments what you guys think, if you've tried them out and you think they work out good for you. But yeah, that's all I wanted to go over on the NVIDIA highlights. Next, we'll go over controller settings, and then I'll show you my Elite Series 2 controller settings as well. All right. So on this part, I want to show you my controller settings and what I use, and maybe this might help you. So on my controller settings, my button layouts are default, default, default. My dead zone is 0.07. Some people, will put it all the way over to 1, but I like a little bit of variant. I switch between 0.05 and 0.07. My sensitivity is insane. I put it on 20, and I know that sounds insane, but so with controller or with mouse and keyboard, a lot of people will play on a 400 DPI, so it's kind of like when you move your hands across the mouse, it's almost accurate to the screen. And it just that's the typical, that's what most competitive players are using is 400 DPI, whereas on controller it's the opposite. Instead of having a slower sensitivity, you want to get used to it as fast as possible because you want to be able to snap. You want to be able to snap left, snap right, and that's just on movement speed and when you're looking and when you're in a hip fire mode essentially. Now, when it comes down to ADS, I slow my ADS down a lot. So my ADS speed, I put it down to 0.55, and then on my snipers or something with a large scope, I'm gonna put it on 0.50, and you'll see anything that's 3.25 or more on your scope is gonna this is where your ADS is gonna be affected here on your high zoom, and then your low zoom is anything less than a 3.25 scope. My aim response curve is linear. Um, my controller vibration enabled. A lot of people do like to play with it off, and I mean, I do think that there's merit to playing with it off, but just, always, I mean, when I had an N64, I had a rumble pack. You know what I mean? Like, I've just always played with the controller vibration, so it just, it seems off to me to cut it off. But I do play with the Elite Series controller, and on the app for the Elite Series controller, which I'll show you in a minute, you can actually adjust how heavy the vibration is, and I have my vibrations turned down low, and I'll go over that shortly. Aim assist, I got it on focusing, and I know what a lot of people are thinking. Oh, you're a noob, man. I'll take any advantage possible that's not hacking. Any advantage that I can get, I'll take it. So, I mean, a lot of people would probably hate on that. I'm sure a lot of you watching this video are going to hate on this part, but any advantage possible to get me closer to the dub is where I'm trying to be at, and I don't care what y'all got to say about it. Scale aim assist with FOV, I got that disabled. Because on PC you can adjust your field of view. So usually the larger your field of view is, it's going to change how the aim assist works on controller. My weapon mount activation is ADS plus melee. My weapon mount movement is enabled. And with enabled, holding the movement input for the weapon mount, and then you exit delay disengages the weapon mount. Aim down sight behavior, I got it on hold. Obviously, I don't know why anyone would want it on toggle. Equipment behavior, I have that on toggle. Use reload behavior, contextual tap. With contextual tap, you tap to reload or to use with priority on use when possible. Holding the button always reloads. So like, when you're picking up weapons and everything, you can just tap, 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 tap. And then if you're in a bunch of weapons, just hold the X button and it'll reload so you don't accidentally pick up a weapon. Depleted ammo weapon switch, keep that disabled, especially if you're running a sniper, because the last thing you want to do is as soon as you run out of bullets on that weapon is to automatically switch to your next gun. I mean, you're sniper. Maybe it could work if your secondary is like your MP5 or something, but nah. Even when I'm sniping, sometimes I don't want it to go to zero and automatically switch out. It's actually going to take me more time in the long run. My slide behavior is on tap, and that's so I can slide cancel. Again, I have the Elite controller, so with slide canceling, I can just double tap the slide button. Auto move forward, nope, disabled. Automatic sprint, nope, disabled. I'm just so used to I press the joysticks in so much when I'm running that having automatic sprint a lot of times just does me more damage than it does good. Vehicle camera recenter enabled. Parachute auto deploy. I got that disabled as well. I mean that doesn't really make a huge difference. I just personally sometimes I like to get I'm like 6 to 8 feet above the ground before I pull my chute, and it just helps me land quicker. But those are my controller settings, and give me just a second, and I'll actually show you. All right, guys. So these are my controller settings for my Elite Series 2 controller. I don't use the bottom two paddles. I just use the top two paddles, and I have that set to slide and jump on my top two paddles, and then everything else is default on that. My left stick, I have set sensitivity curve to instant, and then the curve adjustment, I just leave that on the default, and then my calculation is radial. And why I have it on instant is because your left stick on the controller is where you're going to run, and when I'm running, I want it instant. I want it to go quick as possible. I don't need fine tuned, like to go up, and if I want to do that, you can actually, if you take this off, there's a little screw that they give you, and you can adjust the tension, and I have my tension all the way up on max. So if I want to, I can still go slow, but if I'm pushing it forward, I want to instantly go as far forward as possible. On my right stick, which is, that's where you're aiming, you know what I mean? So I have that one set on smooth, and the calculation on that is radial as well, and the curve adjustment is the default setting. But I want that to be smooth because I want to be able to, you know what I mean, when you're sniping and when you're shooting, you want to be able to fine tune that aim. I'm not on mouse and keyboard, so I can't just, flick as quick as I want to. So I have it adjusted to smooth, so it's just a nice smooth movement, and it's not like so sporadic. Like whereas on instant it would automatically move, so it would kind of shoot it left to right. So I have that set on smooth. My triggers. So on your trigger, on my left trigger, which is your scope in, I have it set on 15. Now what that does is, if you look at this circle right here, so say if I max this out and you see it grows, basically what it does is it's going to actuate. It's going to take a little bit longer to actuate. So I put that down to 15. A lot of people use it, have it on 0, but what I find is if you do have it on 0 or 1, you're gonna do a lot of accidental presses, and I don't want to accidentally scope in or anything, so I have that set to 15, so it's a little bit of a variance. And then on my right trigger, same thing. I don't have it on 0. I keep it on 10, a little bit less, because I want it to actuate as quick as possible, but I also don't want to accidentally fire and give up my position. So that's why I have the right trigger on 10 right there. And you can actually mirror them if you want to set them, if you want to have them both. But these are just my settings that I use. Vibration, this is what I was talking about earlier. So it keeps resetting for some reason. So on my trigger, you can actually set the trigger vibration and the vibration down here. So on my triggers, I keep those around the middle. And then on my left, I cut those down really, really low. Just enough to where I can still feel it, but not enough to where it's like overpowering. And then on my brightness, the brightness just controls the brightness of the LED light behind the Xbox symbol. And less light just helps. It just keeps, I got ADD, so like if it's like in my peripheral vision, like I'll catch it. So I have it on as low as possible. But yeah, guys, these are my settings. And if you have an Elite Series 2 controller, this app's available to anybody. They also have it on the Xbox. I'm not sure how detailed it is on Xbox, if you can do all of these things. You guys let me know in the comments if you have an Elite controller or an Xbox. But I want to say that they're very close to the exact same. But you can literally map any button that you want. Like for example, since I use these two, sometimes I have another controller setting that I'll use, and I'll have the A button actually be up on the D-pad, because on your default controller setting, up on the D-pad is what marks people. So sometimes I'll set that to A, so that way I can mark people by hitting the A button. I switch back and forth between that because there are times where I still, I still forget to use the paddles in certain situations, and I'll accidentally hit A or B, and I don't want to be spamming marking people. So that's kind of why I have that switched back, because there is just times where it's just, muscle memory kicks in, and I am still trying to get used to this controller. But overall, I think the Elite Series 2 is a great controller. It is very expensive. I mean, I got mine from Best Buy, and with the warranty, it was like $256. So it's very expensive. So I mean, you need to make sure that you want it. But if you have been on the fence about getting it, I definitely think it's worth it. If I could go back and do it again, I would do it again. I mean, I even before I bought this controller, I bought a mod pack to put on the back, so I still had the paddles because I wanted to see if I could actually get used to using the paddles. And I seemed to pick it up pretty well. And now for the most part, I mean, 95% of the time, I'm using the paddles to slide, cancel, jump, and do whatever I need to do with those. But yeah, those are my controller settings. I hope this helped. And if you are on the fence about an Elite Series 2 controller, if you can afford it, man, definitely get one. It's super worth it, man. But I hope you guys liked this video, man. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a thumbs up, man. If you didn't, you thought it was lame, leave me a thumbs down, man. I got tough skin, you know what I mean? I can handle it. And if you like the content, man, hit that subscribe button, man. Follow your boy. I upload a video every single day on YouTube. My goal is to upload every single day for the next year. And I just want to build this and talk games with fellow gamers, man. I want to connect with all you guys. But yeah, guys, until next time, man, be easy.